For it when we come back on the IHSA TV network. Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. Just moments away from our 2A state title game between Benton and Phillips out at State Farm Center. Now, Phillips trying to win their second ever boys basketball state title, while Benton is playing in their first title game ever in their school's long history. For those of you who missed it, West Central brought home our first trophy of the day in America's original March Madness, coming in on top of Meridian 62-43. 2A, of course, coming up next. And then later on this evening, 3A and 4A teams will step on the court, first leading up with DePaul College Prep and Mount Carmel in Class 3A. Now, Coach, for this matchup, Phillips is a team, as I mentioned, trying to win their second ever state title. Benton playing in their school's long history. The first for either of these teams as they're currently constructed. What are you expecting to see out on the court?
Well, first for Phillips, you know, they lost 5 games very early on, played one of the toughest schedules in the state for 2A basketball. What they want to do is make this a 94-foot game, use their speed, use their quickness and their athleticism to get up and down the floor and create tempo. They basically want to run Benton out of the gym. I think Benton's going to have something to say about that. What Benton needs to do is they have a great deal of depth. They can hit you with 5 different guys, and they can shoot the ball from the perimeter. So they want to spread out that Phillips team, not allow those double teams by spreading the floor, and then attack, dribble drive, kick out, and hit some three-point shots. They're going to have to hit some three-point shots and keep their turnovers under 14 to win this basketball game.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Phillips had a rough schedule, had a lot of tough teams on that schedule, but they have not lost since January 14th. And, of course, Benton has over 30 wins already on this season. We saw a pretty exciting semifinal between both those sides when they played on Thursday. We'll see what they have in store for the state title game. For this action, we'll send it out to State Farm Center in Champaign, Illinois, as Dave Bernhardt and Cameron Smith will take you through the action. We'll see you all at halftime.
Well, thanks, Darius, and it's great to have everybody join us here at the State Farm Center. One championship game in the books. We've got 2A coming up next here on Championship Saturday. Glad to have you, Dave Bernhardt, along with Cameron Smith. And, you know, Cameron, I'm watching these teams warm up here, and I'm thinking, you know, we so many times talk about finish around the rim, but I think finish is a key word, period, here today.
Yeah, no doubt about it, because you've worked your entire season to get to this point, especially in the state playoffs. The moment is here. You have to seize the day. I'm expecting a great ball game between 2 battle-tested teams. Phillips from the Chicago, of course, Benton from the Southern Illinois area. So be in store, everybody, because we're going to see some high-level basketball in Class 2A.
And, Neil, one of the reasons why is because there's a 5-person first-team All-State team named. We have 2 of them in this game. Let's talk about Dr. Tedeschi from Benton.
Yeah, he's one of the main members of that first-team All-State selection for Class 2A. You see what he's doing on the defensive end. 6 blocks in that semifinal win yesterday against Byron, but also throw in the double-double, 14 points, 10 rebounds. He needs to establish himself early on both ends of this game to make sure that Benton, the Rangers, are comfortable. Number 41 has to get his game going. And speaking of getting your game going, E.J. Horton. 13 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. You saw him be able to get up in the air against Williamsville, yesterday. This young man, Coach Martin describes him as the best player on the team. And when you have that type of respect, you have to prove it once again on the biggest stage in the biggest game.
Moments away. You've got your Benton fans. You've got your Phillips fans. You've got all of us here at the IHSA TV network. Come on back for the opening tip. The IHSA Boys Basketball State Finals are presented by OSF Healthcare. Glad to have you with us here in Champaign. As we said, Championship Saturday. A couple of teams here with a little bit different records. Benton, 3 losses on the season. However, for the Rangers, those 3 losses came in a span of 9 days in the middle of the season after an opening 13-game winning streak. Rangers are now going on 18 straight. And for Phillips, 9 losses on the season, but 6 of those losses were to 4A teams who were in the 4A sectional. Here's our traditional half-court handshake where these 2 teams meet. And in this case, it'll be meeting from the Chicago area, meeting from Southern Illinois. And you take a look at 2 teams here, your sportsmanship handshake. They're ready to roll, and we are as well. So as we get you set for the Class AA 2A state final, let's send it over now to our public address announcer. That is Tim Sinclair.
Welcome to the 2024 IHSA Boys Basketball State Finals, presented by OSF Healthcare. Turn your attention to the video board as we take a look back at how Benton and Phillips Academy advanced to the Class 2A State Championship game.
Childs flying, scoring.
Right on cue.
Another great pass inside. Puma rolls it in.
How about that? The big man. Claude Puma with the big smile on his face.
Ooh, just picked out of midair, and now the break the other way. E.J. Horton slams it home. Horton.
Wow.
Gets it and fouled. And a steal. Breakaway. And a three-point play possibility. They'll have to catch up. Nope. E.J. Horton nearly breaks the rim down. Wendell Phillips Academy will head to the 2A title game. Billington will take it all the way. He has the first two baskets. High arcing three, 10 center. Luke Melvin.
I mean, that's just the top of State Farm Center.
Rejection from Tedeschi. Tedeschi backs his way in, and then a little finger roll for the score.
Beautiful footwork from Ryan Tedeschi there.
And that's how you come out of a timeout right there. The bounce pass from Munoz to Grant Owens. And for the first time in school history, the Benton Rangers will play for a state basketball title when they take on Phillips on Saturday.
Today's starting lineups are presented by OSF Healthcare, the official healthcare sponsor of the IHSA. Now, let's meet the starting lineup for the Benton Rangers. A 6'2" junior guard, number 4, Kyle Thomas. A 6'1" senior guard, number 10, Isaac Billington. A 6-foot junior forward, number 12, Grant Owens. A 6'3" senior guard, number 22, Evan Munoz. And a 6'8" junior forward, number 41, Dr. Tedeschi. Benton is led by head coach Ron Weinmiller. Now, the starting lineup for the Phillips Academy Wildcats. A 5'10" senior guard, number 0, Michael White, Jr. A 5'9" junior guard, number 1, Amari Edwards. A 6'2" junior guard, number 2, Lawrence Horton. A 6'4" junior guard, number 15, Phoenix Childs. And a 6'6" sophomore forward, number 24, Claude Puma. The Phillips Academy Wildcats are led by head coach Paris Martin.
Those are today's starting lineups presented by OSF Healthcare. OSF Healthcare has many care options for you. Visit osfhealthcare.org. And it's time for us to welcome in the third member of our state championship announcing crew. That is Casey Standehar.
Dave, thanks. The Benton Rangers will have to find a way to win a state title today without their senior guard, Luke Melvin. Melvin sprained his right ankle in Thursday's semifinal game. He's also experiencing some ligament damage. He came in today on crutches. He's wearing a boot on that right foot. And head coach Weinmiller told us, we're going to miss him on both ends of the floor. He was our catalyst. We've got to figure out how to replace him. Junior guard Kyle Thomas getting that call up.
All right, very good. Thanks, Casey. So Kyle Thomas gets that start.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how these rotations work for Coach Miller now with Melvin out of the lineup. But I'm really anticipating this Rangers team to really step up. I mean, they come at you in waves, and that's the great thing about having depth.
It'll be Puma along with Tedeschi going up at half court, and it'll be the Benton Rangers with it as we get started here in your 2A title game.
Phillips is going to open up man-to-man, traditionally a man-to-man team. Nice pass there from Tedeschi, but the Wildcats are right there on it, so they're locked in early defensively.
The Puma getting the steal, nearly giving it back. Claude Puma. He was a factor yesterday. 6 for 6 from the floor. A miss from Edwards. That foul will go against E.J. Horton. He is listed as Lawrence Horton. He likes E.J.
Because we don't want EJ coming after us at the broadcast table or the family, because, you know, we're going to respect them, call him EJ. But if you look at the birth certificate, it's Lawrence. But those are the plays there, and you get it, right? The game just started. Your energy is through the roof. You have to stay away from those fouls. So just keep an eye on that for EJ Horton moving forward, is this foul situation, because that's an early first foul for him.
Tedeschi at the top. He can score from anywhere. High arcing shot off the back of the rim for Evan Munoz. Here's Phoenix Childs. Head coach for Benton Rangers is Ron Weinmiller. 294 wins now in his high school career. Spent a year at Ziegler Royalton, a couple at Forston, and the last 15 here at Benton. With the left hand, that was a slick little move from E.J. Horton.
That is beautiful. Listen, if you sit back on those heels defensively against E.J. Horton, he knows it, and he will explode right past you. Get a look at the athleticism from the junior guard.
At the top, it's Isaac Billington for Benton.
Good job from Phoenix Childs there against Tedeschi with the hand in the passing lane to get that deflection.
WP for Wendell Phillips. That's Paris Martin, the head coach for the Phillips Wildcats. 24-9, his first season at the helm at Phillips. His team ranked 8th in the final AP regular season poll in 2A. Benton was the 5th ranked team. Tedeschi will get it off to Grant Owens. Back to Billington. You know, that's an interesting matchup there with Childs and Tedeschi. Nice. Lean in from Billington.
Very nice from Isaac Billington. That's what he does, and Coach Weinmiller describes him as the MVP 2.0 because the MVP of the Rangers is going to be Dr. Tedeschi. But you're looking at Isaac Billington. Great size. We saw it yesterday in the semifinal. Never rattled with that basketball. So that matchup, if it's going to be E.J. Horton against Isaac Billington, I'll tell you what, everybody watching this broadcast, we are in for a show. Those two young men know how to play the game of basketball.
You know, back to Luke Melvin. You count now on Kyle Thomas. However, Melvin, you're taking 12.5 points per game out of your lineup if you're Benton.
That's why throughout the season you get deeper into your bench just to give those guys the opportunities, because in case of injury, you don't want a player coming onto the court that's wide-eyed. And what I mean by wide-eyed is they don't have that experience of being in pressure situations. But that's a credit to Benton and Coach Weinmiller. They have the trust within their team to have guys in these positions to step up.
Offensive foul will go against Benton.
Offensive foul on the Rangers, number 41, Dr. Tedeschi.
It's Dr. Tedeschi with picking up that personal foul.
Tedeschi just trying to get off the pressure from Mike White Jr. Got caught with that off arm. So, again, you're going to expect that throughout these 4 quarters for Phillips. They're going to be in your face the entire time to force you to be uncomfortable.
So already our 2 players we featured in the open have picked up early personal fouls.
Look at him, Puma. Look at the big man battle.
One arm, strong arm, Claude Puma.
Claude Puma says, Dr. Tedeschi, I know your first team All-State in 2A. That's fine. I'm going to go right at you. You love to see that big man matchup, and he has that clear advantage size-wise inside of that lane.
4-2 lead. 3 minutes in for Phillips. Tedeschi hangs. He and Childs. The arrow belongs to Phillips.
Early on, the Wildcats are locked in defensively. You're seeing them really, one, pressure the basketball, but also be down in their stance in the passing lane. So every catch for Benton is going to be difficult for them. And it's also the same thing for the Rangers. Now, they're going to play man-to-man, yes, and traditionally they are a man-to-man team. They'll sprinkle in some zone here and there, but they're going to force Phillips to try and beat them from the outside. You see how they're playing the Wildcats. They're not overextending when they're off the ball. They're making sure that they're ready for those drives.
Nice bounce. Horton to Mpuma. Horton creates some space, knocks it down.
This young man is nice. There's no other way to put it. You have a guy, lefty, and Dave, you know how I feel about left-handed basketball players. They have something special to them. Never met a left-handed basketball player that had an ugly game. And that is not ugly at all from Isaac Billington. Again, he's poised. He's not going to get rattled from this pressure. That's the great thing about Isaac Billington.
Tedeschi, the rebound off the miss from Edwards. Tedeschi, a line drive right into the hands of Munoz. And that missed everything. Benton just 2 of 6 from the floor. They trail by 2. Our first timeout of the game. Your 2A championship game. Phillips and Benton here from Lou Henson Court, the State Farm Center. The keys to the game are brought to you by Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
Such a great university, Southern Illinois University down in Carbondale. What's up to all my Salukis down there? But also, let's get into the keys of the game for Benton. No Lone Ranger. That means you can't go solo dolo in this situation. Play as a team, win as a team. You've won 18 straight games because of togetherness. Next, they have to stay poised, and we've seen that early from Isaac Billington. But they have 3 turnovers so far in this opening quarter. That's something they have to take care of. And for the Phillips Wildcats, we saw it early as well. Heat up the ball handlers, make sure you're in their face, and you don't allow them to get easy drives. And finally, Phillips has to stand on business. The business is bringing a state championship to Phillips Academy for the first time since 1975. Their schedule has prepared them for these moments. They face the top teams in the state, and they are ready for this moment. So they got to stand on business.
Horton will come up a little bit short, and Mpuma tries to keep it alive, but it will be Benton basketball. Benton got by Byron in the semifinals, 50-42. Knocked down 6 of their 15 three-point attempts and really pretty much led wire to wire. Trailed only for about a minute in that game. Only 3 losses on the season. They came in the middle of the year. Tedeschi fouled as he was headed through.
Such a heady play from Dr. Tedeschi, and he's 6'8", and he's not the traditional back-to-the-basket 6'8" guy, and really you're not going to see a lot of those guys in this era of basketball. The guys have size, length, and especially at 6'8", you're going to see them have those guard skills like Tedeschi has. And you saw the fake left, he jabbed left, went to the right, and understood that Claude Mpuma was coming over on the help side. So instead of trying to just go straight up, he used his body to draw that foul on Mpuma. So heady play from Dr. Tedeschi.
Tedeschi, not only is he considered by some the best player in Southern Illinois, he's the best academically in his junior class. 4.15 rather, for Dr. Tedeschi academically.
Wow.
Quickly the other way. Ring up the 3 for Phoenix Childs.
Phoenix Childs was a guy that exploded in the state semis yesterday. 21 points. And when E.J. Horton and Amari Edwards had their struggles, especially in the first half for the Wildcats, it was Phoenix Childs leading the charge for Phillips.
And he was 8 of 11 from the floor in that game. And we're going to go the other way. Another offensive foul on Benton.
Phoenix Childs, and he switched up the hair. Yesterday he had the beautiful floral. Now he has the beautiful braids, and catch, shoot, knocks it down. And Coach Martin describes him as having a Carmelo Anthony type of game. And I understand what Coach is saying. Not saying that he is Carmelo Anthony, but with his size, especially at 6'4", and his triple threat ability to dribble, pass, and shoot, and score from all 3 areas, he is a threat for any defender.
And Mpuma muscling his way in. Claude Mpuma. It was a power move followed by finesse.
Yeah, this feels like Claude Mpuma is taking this personally against Dr. Tedeschi as Coach Ryan Miller calls a timeout for Benton Harbor, and they need it because they're chasing 7 at this point, and Phillips has all of the momentum.
Claude Mpuma, you mentioned him, the smile when the folks here saw that hype video, the smile yesterday for assists for scoring. 6'6", 260 inside.
Yeah, we know that Tedeschi has the length and the height over Mpuma, only a few inches, but this is what Mpuma does. He's going to keep that contact with you to negate the size of Dr. Tedeschi, and that's a smart move from Mpuma. Once he gets you on his back and you're that deep underneath the basket, you might as well put 2 points in the books for the big 6'6" sophomore.
We mentioned the geographic differences between these teams. Ron Weinmiller's team from Benton High School, located in the southern part of the state. We have to get quite a ways south, and they will come up here pretty much on I-57 to hit State Farm Center. And for Wendell Phillips Academy, of course, they hail from Chicago. A trip that Wendell Phillips made in 1975. That's right, AA tournament was played right here. They came away with a first place trophy, also qualified, but did not place in 1977. And then if you look at the stars that were just put on the floor for today's championship battle, the green star right up there, that represents Phillips. And down at the bottom of the state of Illinois, as you'll see when you get into the higher shot, there is a green star which will represent Benton. There it is, right below the block I.
That is so cool.
It is.
Can I put my gym shoes on and maybe put on a Benton jersey or a Phillips jersey to play? Because that's really cool.
It is.
I have to talk to Coach Weinmiller or Coach Martin to see if they can take a veteran point guard.
Emphasis on veteran. Here's the steal by Horton. And can't put it down. And that'll be a technical for hanging on the rim. And that will be his second foul. Wow.
That is a massive swing right there for Phillips. And we saw Horton yesterday get a couple of open court dunks. Here he is, just a little too cool. You got to be able to go ahead and put that dunk down. He didn't understand that, one, there was a player behind him in Owens, but also, two, he didn't get up high enough just to put that down. And you hang on the rim, that's an automatic technical foul. So as I mentioned early in the game, when Horton picked up his first foul in the first 30 seconds of the game, you have to watch out, because if he picks up another one like he did now, it could be dangerous for Coach Martin. So E.J. Horton, maybe the aggression isn't as high as we've seen previously.
At the free throw line, Isaac Billington. He has all 5 of Benton's points here with the minute 44 to play in the first. And it is Phillips 11, Billington 6. And it will be Rangers basketball.
Now, if I'm Coach Weinmiller, whatever action is drawn up, whoever is guarding the basketball with E.J. Horton on, I'm giving him that basketball. I'm going right at E.J. Horton just to see if I can pick up that third foul. And that should be a priority throughout this first half.
Horton was right in the middle of that one. He and Evan Munoz are matched up.
Munoz is a guy that is capable of putting the ball down on the floor and attacking the rim. So, again, you have to look for something like that throughout this first half to see if you can get 3 fouls on E.J. Horton.
Tedeschi and Childs, there's your matchup at the top. And Puma standing in the way. Tedeschi pulls up.
Good pass.
Another good pass. And finally the score from Kyle Thomas.
Kyle Thomas, right place, right time, working a 2-on-1 there against E.J. Horton. Good job with the Rangers, continuing to not be lone Rangers and working together. So
that was a 4-point possession. A couple of free throws followed by the bucket, and it cuts the lead to 3 with exactly a minute to play in the first quarter.
If Amari Elvis can get himself going. He's been quiet in this first quarter so far. This is his first few shots.
Good position there for Thomas, the junior, stepping in for the injured Luke Melvin. Tedeschi will let it fly. Now Phillips with 30 seconds to play in the first. White to the corner, 3, another one. Phoenix Childs again. The other way it goes, Munoz. Horton lets him go, but a foul not on Horton, however.
Phillips taking advantage of transition. Here we go. Mike White Jr., great habit pass in the corner again. Phoenix Childs. It's like a replay. You're running it back with him, knocking down the shot from the left wing, deep corner. The young man has a nice touch, but here's the thing about that play from Phillips, Dave, is that I know that Dr. Tedeschi can knock down shots from the perimeter, but in that situation, when you're chasing, you were down 3. You want to try and get the last shot of that quarter, and that was a quick shot, and it led to a quick transition basket from Phillips.
Munoz gets the first and the second. Horton to walk it up. He'll hit midcourt at about the 6-second mark. Zone is expanded. Long 3. Edwards at the buzzer. 1 quarter in the books here in your Class 2A championship game, and it finds Phillips looking for the first state championship since 1975 by 4 over Benton.
We're back with the start of the second quarter. Phillips leading Benton 14-10. And you could say Phillips lucked into getting their star player, E.J. Horton. When Horton and his mother, Brittany, moved from Florida, they drove to different Illinois public schools who turned down the junior transfer. Horton was a 3.7 GPA student, wanted to go to Whitney Young, but the school said they couldn't accept junior transfers. Now at Kenwood, the same issue. So Horton's mom saw Phillips on their drive back and said, let's try here, and the rest is history, guys. Horton averaging nearly 21 points per game, has 4 in this one, but has to be careful in some foul trouble.
How about that basketball and academic blessing for Phillips Academy getting E.J. Horton. But here's the situation for Benton coming out of that first quarter. It's kind of a good news, bad news scenario for him. So the good news for him is that you have E.J. Horton and also Claude Mpuma both with 2 personal fouls apiece. That is huge going forward with the rest of this game. Bad news is you're still chasing 4. But within that, they've only shot 30% coming out of that first quarter. We saw that Dr. Tedeschi came up short on that jumper, but this team is still within great striking distance in this ball game. Look for Coach Weimiller to make plays like that within their sets. Great connection, Tedeschi, Billington. It's a 2-point ball game for Phillips.
Now it's Isaac Billington, 8 of the 12 points for the Rangers. Both teams right now shooting at 33%. Amari Edwards stops and pops.
You know, Amari Edwards is like, all right, I went 0 for 4 in that first quarter. I can't do that anymore. I took a couple of threes. They came up short. Let me get into my in-between game, get into my mid-range jumper, going left and pulling up. That's nice.
Tedeschi has as good a look as he may get all day and can't put it down.
Rangers have to stop the basketball right now. E.J. Horton going downhill.
Horton looks to answer, and it will be ripped down by Tedeschi. The Rangers want to push it a little here.
Yeah, and I don't mind that, Dave. Hey, when you have your opportunities, push that basketball. Ben can push as well.
Billington, line drive 3 will go.
Oh, you see the Michael Jordan-like trot back there. He's in his bag. He's shaking his head like, yeah, I'm here inside of the State Farm Center. You see me, Phillips Academy. I'm not going anywhere. Billington, again, is poised. You cannot rattle this young man.
11 of the 15 Benton points pulls the Rangers within 1. 2 minutes into the second quarter. Elijah Harris came into this ball game at the start of this second quarter. Childs with it rejected and a foul on Tedeschi. Now that would be his second.
This is a massive call coming from the official right now on that play.
The Rangers, number 12, Grant Owens, his second.
There we go. So there's the block up top, but the official actually called that foul on Grant Owens, number 12. So it does not go on Dr. Tedeschi. But here we go again. Isaac Billington. And all my hoopers out there know when you make a shot like that, you get that smooth hooper trot back. Like, yeah, you see my jumper. I work on that thing. You saw how I went through the hoop. You better get up and guard me.
7 points for Childs. He has had a monster run through this state tournament, coming off a 24-point super sectional performance, and you said yesterday 21 here on the big stage.
This has a really smooth game. Also has a little drip with the sneakers that he got on as well, David. You can't let that happen.
How did it happen?
Wow.
Evan Munoz. And we're tied at 17.
Evan Munoz is looking at Phillips like, are you guys serious right now? You're going to give me a wide open lane? That's fine. Put 2 points in the books for me.
17-17. 5.5 left in the first half in your 2A title game.
Now you're looking defensively at Benton. You see how they're guarding E.J. Horton, especially if you're off the ball. They're closing those driving gaps, but Horton still finds a way and gets that floater to go.
How about a soft hop over that rim?
I am telling you what, E.J. Horton will be and continue to be a problem within this state. Another year of high school for this young man. Look at Elijah Harris. He's going to get called for that foul, but if I'm Coach Martin, I don't mind it. That is fine, because at this point, we have 1 team foul. So we like the aggression from Elijah Harris, who had 3 steals yesterday in the semifinal. But here's Munoz. Okay, you don't want to pick me up. And Phoenix Childs is looking and say, hey, we got to get better with our defensive communication. We can't let that happen. This is not the game to have those type of mental lapses.
Billington looking for that screen, finds it.
Rangers have a mismatch there with Tedeschi with Harris on his back.
Boy, and they recognize it immediately, but the strip underneath.
Good help down from Amari Edwards, the junior there, helping out Elijah Harris.
And that mismatch was 13 inches.
Yeah.
5'7" Elijah Harris, 6'8" Dr. Tedeschi.
I'll say this, Elijah Harris did his job in holding up Dr. Tedeschi. Munoz doesn't get that 3 to go.
Horton high for the tip rebound to himself, looking to build on a 2-point lead. He'll throw it up, and he's going to get a couple of free throws out of this. You know, when Horton took off on his drive, my thought was, look out. Somebody steps in his way. That would have been his 3rd in the first half. Instead, he goes to the line and shoots 2.
And how about this? Is KYP right? And I know that Munoz is a solid defender, but knowing that E.J. Horton is strong left, he's a left-handed player, I'm willing to just jump over to that side to see if I can draw that charge, because I've seen E.J. Horton play this game. I'm defending him. We're about halfway into the second quarter, and every time I've seen him drive, he's going left. He's going left. So if he's going to put his head down and just charge forward with his left hand, I'll slide over and take that charge and possibly pick that up on E.J. Horton for his 3rd foul.
1 of 2 from the line for Horton. First team All-Stater, All-City in Chicago, 4th team. Phillips a 20-17 lead. Dr. Tedeschi coming in averaging almost 16 points per game, has just 1 free throw today.
Phillips has done a good job of slowing down Dr. Tedeschi.
How about that? It's Kyle Thomas. He gets the start today in place of the injured Luke Melvin, and he takes it to the hole.
And that's the benefit of having guys ready to play. Kyle Thomas understanding he has to raise his level with Luke Melvin out.
And the Rangers thought they may get the call. They will not. A 1-point game. We're midway through the second quarter. Doesn't get much better than this for a 2A championship game.
Set out to be a tight one between Phillips and Benton. A 1-point game here in the first half. Coming up at halftime, the coach Mark Lindo and I will break down this game. Take a look back at the 1A championship as well. And, of course, talk about the 2 championships we have coming up later on today as well. Back to State Farm Center with Dave Bernhardt and Cameron Smith.
Thanks, Darius. Final 4 minutes here in the first half as Phillips looks to repeat some history. The Wildcats, last time they were here was 1977, but when they came in 75, they won it all. There it is, your state champions under head coach Herb Brown. Herb Brown, by the way, brought 3 teams from 74, 75, and 77, won it all in 75 with a 76-48 win over Bloom. And so this edition of the Wildcats look to match that.
I know Phillips has been one of the higher scoring teams in the state of Illinois, but I don't think they can match that 1975 state championship team. I'm looking at some of those scores. They had 4 games where they scored 100 points. I mean, they were just dog walking people, and it's probably pretty clear why they won a state championship in 1975. So much talent with that 75 Phillips team.
They did that with a 32-1 record.
Williams coming up short with that three.
Oh, somehow that pass got through to Munoz. And one in the lead.
And if this foul is on E.J. Horton, this is massive. And it is. That is the third personal foul on E.J. Horton. Again, those are the plays you just have to let go. Even if you're not going to go for the block, just remove yourself from that situation. So mark this down, everybody watching this broadcast. 3:40 mark of the second quarter. It's the third foul on E.J. Horton.
Evan Munoz, talk about somebody stepping up. Munoz has done just that. Benton the first lead. It comes at the 3:40 mark, and a rejection from Tedeschi.
Tedeschi saying, you must not know who I am, Ian Williams, and that's going to be a travel on Claude and Puma. So now that momentum has shifted over fully to Benton.
E.J. Horton picked up an early foul. He picked up a technical foul for hanging on the rim on a missed dunk, and now he finds himself on the bench with 3 personal fouls with 3.5 minutes to go here in the first half. That's not a happy young man right now.
Not at all. One of the worst situations you could be in, especially if you're the star of the team. I don't expect E.J. Horton to show up again in this first half.
Munoz really feeling it. Wow. Childs ahead to Edwards.
Good push right here from Amari Edwards.
Tedeschi will pick it out of midair. Rangers want to push. Billington back to Tedeschi. Boy, they do a great job of closing on the big guy.
Yes, they do. And you just see the quickness and recognition defensively from the Wildcats. Look at Amari Edwards. Look at him battle. I mean, 5'7", yeah. But again, what he lacks in height, he makes up in heart. This young man really gets after it.
Elijah Harris, big-time three for Harris.
Look at that, the 2 smallest guys on the court. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Amari Edwards. I took away 2 inches from you in height. You're 5'9", and then he finds off against his teammate. 5'7", Elijah Harris. The 2 smallest guys on the court hooking up.
He gives his team the lead. Childs doing a great job on Tedeschi. Billington, what a first half Isaac Billington has had. 13 points, 13 of the 24, and a 1-point lead for Benton. Edwards trying to create space. And that was touched last by Phillips, and the Wildcats not agreeing with that.
Hey, don't tell me about height. This is about heart over height. Look at Amari Edwards right there, battling amongst the trees, and then he's going to hook up with the senior, Elijah Harris, 5'7", light work from the perimeter for Harris. That was a massive 3 for Phillips. And Harris is going to pick up another foul, trying to disrupt Isaac Billington.
And that will be his second. So you have Harris with 2, Horton with 3, and Isaac Billington having a day. Number 10 right there for Benton. He came in averaging 14.3 points per game. He has 13 in the first half, and his team has the 1-point lead.
I said this yesterday about Isaac Billington. I didn't know what his favorite song is, but he was playing it yesterday, and he continues playing that song today. He is unbothered out here.
Tedeschi loads up for 3. Childs on the breakout was Harris. Elijah Harris.
So, Dave, we got to keep an eye on number 15 in white for Phillips, Phoenix Childs. We remember yesterday in the first half when Amari Edwards, E.J. Horton struggled offensively. It was Phoenix Childs that kept Phillips ahead and in control of the ball game, and he's trying to do that again.
And Puma just rips it out of there. 60 seconds to play in the first half. Childs pull up. Thomas able to snare it. Got the ball inside. And Munoz couldn't handle it along the baseline. Phillips will get another shot at through the 6th turnover by Benton.
Dave, it's the second time we've seen a bad possession for Benton under the 1-minute mark. We saw it in the first quarter with Dr. Tedeschi. Took an early 3 when Benton could have saved that basketball in that possession for the final shot. And again, a turnover here. They have to try and hold down the defensive end and try and see if they can get a stop heading into halftime.
Well, this has worked out the Phillips advantage with E.J. Horton on the bench with 3 fouls.
I like where the basketball is in the hands of Amari Edwards to see if he can create.
He will, maybe a bit early, but he gets the rebound into the hands, or was momentarily in the hands of Mpuma. The arrow belongs to Phillips. Jeremiah Benjamin had come into the game. He's in there now, has some tape on his left shoulder for Phillips.
Get a second look at this of just heart. Show me why you want this game. That's why you want this game. As Phillips turns the basketball over.
It was Edwards, got a little casual, and stepping in front of the inbounds was Grant Owens. So Ron Weinmiller for Benton says, I'm going to take myself a 30-second timeout and use these last 17.5 seconds to my advantage.
What a first half we've had between Phillips Academy and Benton. Here's a replay of that turnover again. You can't be lackadaisical. It's not so much on the pass from Amari Edwards, but you have to come to that basketball if you're DeAndre Addison. Yes, you would like a chest pass from Amari Edwards, but given the angle, and especially where the defender is, and they'll learn this as they get older, but you have to meet those passes, especially in these situations where it's under 30 seconds going into half, and the team that's chasing, they're excited. They want to get a steal and a turnover.
And I don't know whether Dr. Tedeschi for Benton will get his hands on the ball in his final possession. So far today, Tedeschi has missed all 7 of his field goals. But what does an All-Stater do? He comes up in other ways. He has all 4 of Benton's assists and 6 rebounds.
First team All-Stater. Not getting his points going, that's fine. Doctor says, look, I know I'm struggling there, but what I will do is impact other areas on this basketball court.
Billington with it. And the steal. Harris, can he beat the clock? Elijah Harris hangs and scores!
The 5'7" senior Elijah Harris pushes the Phillips lead to 3 going into halftime. That is such a huge momentum shift for the Wildcats. We saw yesterday in the final 30 seconds of the ball game, it was Elijah Harris coming up with a big steal to force Phillips into a situation where they strengthen their lead, and he does it once again. That is senior leadership and understanding the moment. Big time play from Elijah Harris.
Harris has scored the last 7 points for Phillips. These were the final 2.
Young kids watching the broadcast, did you see Elijah Harris in the passing lane? He didn't let that pass become easy, and this is the point I mentioned in the first quarter. Phillips will make those passes to the wings tough for you.
Harris Martin, the head coach of Phillips, is with Casey.
Coach, a great first half. How has your team effectively slowed down Dr. Tedeschi?
Well, we know, like I said, our game plan was to stop him, to make sure that he has to put the ball on the floor. He's a great shooter, great basketball player for high school. Like I said, he has a great skill set.
How do you get your team poised to play clean defense and foul trouble in the first half?
Oh, just slide our feet, move, play defense without your hands. Let the defense keep the guys in front of us and make them beat us over the top.
Thanks, Coach.
No problem.
Thanks, Casey. And you take a look at what Phillips has done here. They have, in effect, weathered the storm, looking to play for that state trophy. Phillips a leg up at the half, 27-24 over Benton after the break. Darius Joshua, Mark Linda will break it down.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network here in our Chicago studios. There's Joshua, the coach Mark Lindo here to take you through the first half of our 2A state final. Phillips with a 3-point lead. Let's look at how they got that lead so far in the first 16 minutes. 2 minutes into the second quarter, Isaac Billington going behind the screen of Dr. Tedeschi and lets one fly. That's a deep triple. At one point, he had it missed in the first half. He knocks that one down to give his squad the lead. E.J. Horton, also a first-team All-Stater, gets right into the lane and gets a nice soft touch off the rim. He gives his lead back the lead. And then off of the miss from Tedeschi, Elijah Harris getting down the court, not afraid of the near 7-footer, and gets the layup to fall. He had a great finish to this first half. Here coming up with the steal, something he did on Thursday as well, and gets the tough layup to fall, 27-24, the last bucket of the quarter, giving his squad the halftime lead here. Now the All-Stater for the Wildcats, E.J. Horton, he has had some foul trouble, and some other guys have stepped up.
Elijah Harris stepped up. He had the game-clinching steal yesterday. Today, he scored the last 7 points of the first half, including that steal that you just highlighted. So a good team has different people step up at different times, and Phillips did that today with Elijah Harris and a supporting cast.
7 points in 8 minutes off the bench. I think that's pretty good efficiency. Any coach would certainly want out there. Now, before the game, Coach, you talked about the balance from Benton. So far, it's been a lot of Isaac Billington, Dr. Tedeschi having some trouble out there. What do you want to see him do differently?
Well, Tedeschi's an all-stater. He did not play like an all-stater in the first half. He has to be impactful in the game in numerous areas of his game. What he needs to do in the second half, I think they got to get him inside a little bit to create some good opportunities for some success early on to create his confidence.
A very exciting back and forth first half of 2A action. It should lead to a very thrilling ending in our 2A championship. We're going to come right back here on the IHSA TV network with a little more to come during halftime.
The IHSA Boys Basketball State Finals are presented by OSF Healthcare. These hard work plays are brought to you by Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council. Strong alone, unstoppable together.
When you speak of hard work, you got to talk about the Phillips Academy Wildcats. 4 steals in that first half from multiple players. Those guys understood getting your hand in passing lanes and also heating up ball handlers, which was one of my keys for them defensively, will bring you success. And this was right before halftime. Elijah Harris, the senior, at 5'7". I don't care if he's 5'7". He has the athleticism to hang in the air. E.J. Horton, another steal here. Unfortunately, didn't get that done to go. You have to keep an eye on him in the second half. He has 3 fouls. But on the other side for Benton, it was Isaac Billington. 13 of the Rangers' 24 points in that first half. 5 of 6 from the floor. This young man understands that even though Dr. Tedeschi, the first-team All-Stater, was scoreless in the first half, I have to step up my play. So Isaac Billington was a guy that was so crucial for Coach Weinmiller's team and only has them down to a certain point where you're not like, all right, well, we're out of this game. When you have Dr. Tedeschi and Isaac Billington, you're always in ball games.
You know, the one thing that, though, you have to be worried about if you're a Benton fan, your 5 starters have played every single minute of the first half.
Yeah.
Phillips, on the other side, have played 9. Only 1 has played every minute.
And this is one of those things where in this second half, you have 16 minutes to decide who you want to be and what you want to do. This could be it for either side. So whatever the message was for both teams at halftime, execute them fully, especially if you are Benton. Only down 3 points in this ball game, so you are right there. And great thing for them, they start the half with the basketball.
Or wouldn't they like to have those last 10, 12 seconds back in the first half? I'll see if they can make it up right here.
I have to credit the Wildcats doing better this game than they did yesterday when it comes to turnovers. Had 13 turnovers in that semifinal win, and they start things off with another steal. It's the 5th steal of the game for the Wildcats. Wow.
That is not what the Rangers wanted. And here's Edwards, and he capitalized on it.
Look at that. Points on turnovers that quickly. E.J. Horton just eating up the ball as an inbounder, guarding the inbounds. Active hands, gets the steal, and it results in Amari Edwards' 3. Well, I was going to say about Phillips, only 3 turnovers in that first half, so they've done a better job today of taking care of the basketball than they did yesterday.
Quickly, that lead goes to 6. 5 straight scored in a span of about 10 seconds between the second quarter and here in the third. Billington up over Mpuma. And the follow, first points from the field from Dr. Tedeschi.
All right, Dr. Tedeschi, welcome to the ball game scoring-wise. Let's see if that can open up his game going forward.
E.J. Horton, of course, back in the game, playing with the 3 fouls. Aggressive near the rim. But Benton will come the other way, down by 4.
4-on-3 advantage. You got to take advantage of this and score.
And they do. What a great decision by Billington, right? Grant Owens gets the bucket. Billington was getting ready to load up for a 3, and he sees Owens underneath for an easy 2.
Yeah, because he knew he was standing in front of Coach Weinmiller, and he said, if I dribble this basketball and take a quick shot, you know what? I'm going to hear from my coach, so let me just find my teammate and get that basket with Grant Owens.
Edwards very patient at the top. 5'9" junior.
Oh, beautiful.
To Mpuma. Tedeschi just snatches it out of there.
Alden Puma has to finish that, but if you're Phillips, you got to stop basketball.
Right there is Horton. I don't know if Tedeschi saw him. Here's E.J. Horton. He'll take it in. Turnover leads to points.
We're seeing Phillips again. 5 points off of turnovers early in this ball game in the first couple of minutes.
The miss from Munoz. The miss from Thomas. Let's check in with Casey Standahar. She caught up with Ron Weinmiller from Benton.
Coach, Isaac Billington driving to the rim with 10 and a three-pointer. How does he give your team security?
Well, he's the guy that we got total faith in with his ball in the hands, and he's a guy that's just made big plays all the first half. You know, with Doc struggling, and Isaac's been that second scorer that we've needed all year, and he's just continued to deliver today.
What was your message down 3 at half?
You know, we got to continue to finish plays. We missed a few free throws, missed a couple layups. We just got to make a few plays and just make sure we get that first rebound and finish this off.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
And thanks, Casey. And you saw a great bounce pass inside to Mpuma to give Phillips the 6-point lead.
Yeah, and Puma knows that, hey, I need to make this layup. And Dave, I had a rule when I played high school and college basketball was if I pass the ball to my big man and he fumbled the first time, I get it. You're human. We make mistakes as the Wildcats on the break again. And look at EJ. Doesn't finish that, but there's Amari Edwards, and there's Doc Tedeschi.
Up top to White. He'll try it. Still, the Wildcats with it.
Look at this energy and effort from Phillips.
Horton on the floater. Finally, it will be Benton basketball, a one-on-one. Billington against Childs. Winner, Billington.
How about just the change of pace on that fast break from Isaac Billington? He knew that Phoenix Childs was going for the block. So what do? Change my pace just a little bit and not go off my left foot. I'm going to go off my right foot just to throw off the shot blocker and get a quicker layup attempt. And he finishes that.
Keeps Benton within 4. And Puma.
Oh, okay. A little inversion there. A little big man coming off a stagger screen for 3.
Inside, somehow it goes. Grant Owens gets it.
And the Rangers will never be out of ball games. They're going to continue to battle you.
11 of 13 field goals made by Benton have come in the paint. Edwards. Tedeschi again, high for the board. That is his 9th rebound. A chance here, or maybe the lead. Edwards. Here come the Wildcats. White challenges Tedeschi. Tedeschi wins that battle, and back we go the other way. Benton a 3-on-2. Thomas, interior passing. Worked high.
It's a new ball game inside of State Farm Center. The momentum on the side of the Rangers. You're going to hear their fans really pick up their noise level. Let's see if they can try and get a stop. But if you're Phillips, I want to see something when it comes to E.J. Horton to see if you can get him going downhill. And this is a ball screen coming from Phoenix Childs. I like the motion here.
Last 6 points of this game have been scored by the Benton Rangers. And brought their fans back into it. A 3. Inside position, Owens. Phillips has missed its last 8 shots. Tedeschi stops. It's Childs that got a hand on the ball. Ahead of the pack is Edwards. Amari Edwards, the scores and 1.
But Coach Martin calls Amari Edwards the golden child. And you see why, because it's the timely plays from Amari Edwards. And the pass was a little bit behind him. So not only did he have to wait for the ball to come to him, but then he also had to make sure that he could shield the basketball while getting fouled and finish the play. Look, this is a high-level ball game. We have seen both teams really show up and show out on both ends, and we got a lot of basketball coming your way. Look at Amari Edwards. Feels the contact, finishes it, and we have the Wildcats up 2.
Right there in front of the Phillips bench. And this team has been involved in a tight game earlier in this playoff run. Now, they had been blowing teams out, but you just miss it there in the sectional. It was a 2-point win over Marshall, or check that. It was the 15-point win over undefeated Beecher at that time to propel them, and tightest game coming yesterday in the semifinal, a 4-point battle. In fact, that ball game there, it was a 1-point game with about a minute left, and that was a game that saw Phillips shoot 70%. Now for Benton, their road a little different. They knocked off top-ranked Breeze Central. That came to sectional championship ball game, and those schools don't quite match up with what happened, but we'll take it.
Major free throw right here for Amari Everett. Coming out of the timeout after getting the and one, and he knocks it down smoothly. The best free throw shooter on the roster for Coach Martin's team. Amari Everett's knocking down free throws at a 93% clip. Young kids, get in the building, get in the gym, get to the free throw line. They are free for a reason. Work on your routine and your craft and your touch.
Benton has struggled from three-point range today. Just 1 of 11 after going 6 of 15 in the semifinals. Everything's happening in the paint. Tedeschi waits and scores.
Very smart move for the Rangers, getting that basketball to Dr. Tedeschi, because they knew that E.J. Horton was on his back. And smart move for Horton, knowing that he has 3 fouls. He's not going for a block, so you put your arm straight up, and at that point, you can't do anything. Just allow him to score.
Horton looks to his head coach, Paris Martin. What do you want us to do here? All right, we'll just take it easy.
Yeah, they're content with holding this basketball.
Yeah, 1-point lead. The minute 40 to play here. You're protecting a little bit of foul trouble here.
I see what Coach Martin is trying to do here. You see where Claude Puma is, just inside of that three-point arc on the right side. So we're looking at some type of ball screen happening for E.J. Horton. We've seen that a couple of times with Claude Puma. When he sets that screen, he's going to dive, and gotten a couple of passes on those dives. 50% on those. He missed one, made one. But I see what the motive is and what the setup is for E.J. Horton. You have a shooter in Amari Edwards in the left corner. You have Elijah Harris, who's knocked down the 3 in that first half, in the right corner. So E.J. Horton has options when he comes off his screen.
You know, it's interesting. You saw a quick shot of Paris Martin, his arms crossed. Ron Weinmiller, now he is gesticulating a little bit, but he just had his hands folded here for these final seconds. This possession started at the 2:04 mark. So we've taken about a minute 15, minute 20 off the clock here.
Now here we go. You see Amari Edwards, Elijah Harris switch sides of the floor. So now you're going to expect E.J. Horton to go right, to give himself 3 options. Himself, Edwards in the corner for 3, or a diving Claude Puma.
Well, you can hear the fans rising to their feet and making some noise here in these final 15 seconds. And now it's time to go. Tedeschi jumps out on Horton. Trails him all the way. Tedeschi gets rid of it. Oh, my goodness. All right, everyone. You see the score. We're going to the 4th quarter. Phillips looking for its first state championship since 1975. Benton has never gotten this far looking for its first state championship. It comes down to the next 8 minutes. 49 years ago, Phillips won the Class AA state championships. One of the members of that team in that team photo was Marty Murray, and he's standing by with Casey.
Dave, thank you. That's right. I found someone pretty cool in the stands. Marty Murray, you were a part of the AA championship team in '75. How have you seen basketball change since then at Phillips?
Well, the game has got to speed it up a little more, and they shoot more jump shots. We was going to the basket back in the day when I was playing. That was the most important, going to the basket.
When you played, what was the best memory from that 1975 team?
Winning the state tournament. And I fouled out the game, and they still won by 20. That was a good thing.
Yeah, I saw you had 16 in the quarterfinal, 23 in the semis, and you fouled out. What about that?
That's why I'm glad we won, because we was a tough team in them days. We had like 9 good players on the team. Everybody, they shared what was going on.
What would you tell this Phillips team to motivate them to win this championship?
Keep playing the way they playing and just play a little harder.
Thank you so much, Marty. Glad to have you with us. Dave, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Casey, thanks. He's just glad they won. Good deal. I'm sure Marty is enjoying this weekend here in Champaign. We'll start the fourth quarter. Wildcats with it. Amari Edwards buries the first one.
There's that two-man game between Amari Edwards and Claude Mbuma. We saw it be successful in the third quarter. They go right back to it to start the fourth. Look at this ball pressure from Edwards.
Edwards becomes the first Phillips player in double figures. Ooh, and there's Harris again. Boy, you cannot show that ball to number 3.
Yeah, they will be right on you. We talked about Harris and how big that steal was before halftime.
That's his third foul. He and Horton both have 3 fouls. Nobody in foul trouble for Benton. Rangers the ball down by 3.
Try and see if you can get that basketball to Dr. Tedeschi. Has Phoenix Childs on him. Childs a good defender, but still, you really need your star players to really step up in the money quarter, the fourth quarter.
Tedeschi had to alter the shot somewhat with Childs flying out at him, but Benton has it. Munoz tipped out. Childs with it. Phoenix Childs on the move, and he'll beat Billington to the basket.
One of the best X factors that we have in Champaign, regardless of class. Phoenix Childs has been so beneficial to Phillips Academy.
He expands the lead to 5. That's the 14th fast break point for Phillips. Outscored Benton 4-0 here in the early part of the fourth quarter. Thomas inside. They were looking for the mismatch there.
Good job on the switch. And Puma there. Great pass from Tedeschi. Got to make that layup if you're Owens.
Yep, Grant Owens with the miss. Tedeschi, 4 assists today to go along with 10 rebounds. Has been held to just 4 points. But here the Phillips Wildcats a chance to boost the lead. Edwards. Harris. And then another chance.
I mean, he's 5'7", getting offensive rebounds and great hands there because that's going to be off the leg. It looked like it, I assumed, off the leg of Claude Mbuma, but the officials think otherwise.
Boy, Elijah Harris has had an impact on this game. He came on late in the first half, scored the final 7 points for Phillips to enable the Wildcats take a 27-24 lead at halftime.
Dave, we're just seeing a senior understand that this is his last basketball game on the high school level. So I'm leaving it all out there right now.
Harris, the only substitute in this game who have scored a point. We're down to 5:45 to play.
Harris Martin is going to force Ben out. He's going to have E.J. Horton, one of his best ball handlers, to just pull that defense out. Now you're going to see a run and jump.
Harris gets an opening. Hayes and scores. Elijah Harris, where did you come from?
I don't care that this young man is 5'7". The way he plays the basketball game, you would think that Elijah Harris is 6'7". Massive plays from this 5'7" senior.
With 5:18 to play, Benton starting to get into real problem zone here.
Isaac Billington been a little quiet in this fourth quarter. Again, if he's MVP 2.0 and you have Dr. Tedeschi, first-team All-Stater, your MVP of the team, I want to see those guys work in tandem within the offense. We've seen it a few times in that first half, but it hasn't been as consistent.
Munoz baseline. Couldn't find Billington. Right into the hands of Childs. A 2-on-1. Oh, Horton with the slam.
E.J. Horton says, Dr. Tedeschi, I know you're first-team All-State, but I will put it on your head.
Timeout, Benton.
That's a way to make up for that missed dunk in the first half from E.J. Horton.
An 8-0 run for Phillips. And a 9-point lead. Wow. Well, it's time now for the Menards play of the game. I don't think you're going to be surprised. Save big money and all your home improvement needs with Menards.
Look, this might be the play of the weekend. E.J. Horton, have your moment. Southpaw. Dr. Tedeschi, I credit him for challenging him, But E.J. Horton understood the entire time. He wanted this moment and capitalized on that moment. Ooh, man, way to channel your inner Dave Bernhardt. I see you, E.J. Horton. That's how Dave Bernhardt used to put it down on people's heads.
Yeah, we had the 7-foot hoop, so you're right. You're right.
Wow. How about the momentum shift in this ball game right now for Phillips and how tight this game was, and now they're breathing a little more comfortably with this 9-point lead.
Benton has not scored here in the first 3 minutes of this quarter. Meanwhile, you saw the 7th and 8th points for Phillips. 11 Benton turnovers, and the Wildcats from Benton have turned that over into 13 points on their end of the floor.
I'll bring that key back up again that I had before the game for the Phillips Academy Wildcats. Eat up the ball. They've been doing that throughout these 4 quarters. They have not slowed down in that area, and they've done it without fouling as well, and that's even more impressive for Phillips.
You know, 11 turnovers is not a bad day against this Phillips team, but boy, have they jumped all over those mistakes. Billington into his hands. He rises and scores.
There it is. You need Isaac Billington to really get his game going. This is a money quarter, and you're under 5 minutes. Isaac Billington needs to continue having that basketball in his hands, but I want to see more ball screens, high ball screens for Billington so he can create in space.
Harris in traffic. He'll come away with it. And Tedeschi will send it about 2 rows up.
Tedeschi's like, I learned my lesson. You're not going to embarrass me again. Get that out of here, Elijah Harris.
Good work there by Owens.
It's another one of those underneath out of bounds passes for Phillips. We saw that in the game before where they're just too lackadaisical throwing that ball in. You know that Benton's going to pressure hard, especially on those first passes. You have to go meet that ball.
Edwards tries to get around Billington. Childs. Harris, good ball movement here. Playing keep away with 4 minutes to play in the game. Edwards will go up and down. 12 points for Amari Edwards. The lead back at 9.
Amari Edwards gets underneath that free throw line. It's a hot zone for him. He knows what to do with that basketball.
Tedeschi wanted it. Thomas to Owens. And Puma stops him there. Billington rises. Loose ball. Here we go. Childs will clean it up.
Vinny Childs saying, I got your back, EJ. Now let's stop missing dunks so I don't have to have your back on those plays. But Phillips, again, continuing to push that lead up.
Biggest lead of the game. And yet another turnover. Things falling apart for the Rangers. Phillips outscoring Benton 12-2 in the 4th quarter. They have opened it up with 3:13 left.
Looks like E.J. Horton needs an obstacle in his way to finish a dunk. He had an impressive dunk. I'm sure, I promise you will see that in highlights when the coach Mark Lindell and I step up at halftime to show you everything from this game. And, of course, take a look back at our 1A champion as well.
Come on in and have a seat. Watch the last part of the ball game.
And I hope you do as well. We'll see you after the game.
All right, fellas. We already have one state champion. West Central winning the 1A title and double-figure margin, and that's where Phillips has been here in this one, and it's been about their defense.
Yes, and that is the pride of this program. And this started the second half. E.J. Horton not relaxing on that initial inbounds. That resulted in the Amari Edwards 3. These young men have been so locked in on the defensive end and have 13 points off of turnovers, but they also have 8 steals. And there's Edwards again, the golden child, as Coach Paris Martin describes him as. E.J. Horton had his game going. 3 steals for Horton, 3 steals for Phoenix Childs. This team defensively is one of the best in the state.
And they're looking to pick up that first place trophy here in a little over 3 minutes of playing time. Edwards weaves his way through.
For Phillips, you can't hide from the basketball, and that's what happens when you hide. Great steal from Owens. Great pass.
Ahead to Billington for the score.
Quick baskets off turnovers. Great job from Owens, Tedeschi, and Billington to finish things off. Now they're going to continue this run and jump defensive pressure to try and see if they can get another turnover.
Got it into single digits. Time running short, though.
Amari Edwards is challenging his inner Bob Cousy right now. He's just dribbling all over the court.
And Puma comes to get it to Childs. And Puma, Harris passing up the shot. Another turnover, back-to-back turnovers. Benton needs to score and do it quickly. Billington trying to free himself up. And Puma keeps it alive off the rim to himself. Here comes the big guy. Claude and Puma. Oh, my. I don't know that was something in Paris Martin's playbook. Wow.
But did you notice, Dave? Nobody stepped in front of Claude and Puma. Like, I'd rather grab his arm, or at least try to, instead of step in front of him to take a charge. Because, one, I value my life, and also I value my limbs.
All right.
This is
step in front of this, Cam. Come on now.
No, not at all. That's 260 pounds coming right at you. I have to back away from our screen right now and our desk because I'm nervous he's going to come right at me. I'm not stepping in front of that, and Benton definitely didn't step in front of that.
Man. You know, here's a guy, a sophomore. Well, you know what? He has a great time. We saw it all day yesterday, or a couple of days ago. The big smiles. Plays with enthusiasm. A leader on the floor in his own way.
Yeah, just has a joy for the game of basketball. Notice those things. It's just pure for him in the game. And that just comes from himself internally, his family situation, the program situation. When you have kids that smile and love to play and give everything, they're a joy to have.
And the backdoor cut. There's Mpuma to disrupt it as Billington was cutting the baseline.
And Puma only a sophomore, Amari Edwards a junior, E.J. Horton a junior, Phoenix Childs a junior. They're coming back still fully loaded into next season.
Some folks thought maybe next year. There's a drive, nicely done, Kyle Thomas. But when you lose 9 games, 6 coming to Class 4A teams who are playing in the sectionals, well, next year, don't worry about that. They're taking care of business right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Here's the situation if you're Phillips. Understanding that you're up 8 with the potential to go up more depending on, actually there's only 2 team fouls on Benton, so it'll be underneath out of bounds for Phillips. But you have to be able to space the floor out knowing that Benton is running and jumping at you, trying to cause these traps.
On the inbounds, easily done from Mpuma to Horton.
And Puma puts the glasses on saying, yeah, you see me? Well, yeah, we definitely see you with that pass to E.J. Horton.
Tedeschi knocks down the 3. First 3 of the day for Tedeschi. And dare I say, that's the first time he got a really clean look at a 3-pointer.
Yeah, 1 of 6 from 3 for Tedeschi. So the situation for the Rangers, down 7. 1 minute and 17 seconds left. Still a lot of ball game to be played. They've been successful running and jumping and causing havoc on the defensive end. Continue that. But then also, if you get those live ball turnovers, you have to go. You cannot wait.
The assist of the game is brought to you by Donate Life Illinois. The IHSA teams up with Donate Life Illinois to encourage everyone to say yes to being an organ, tissue, and eye donor.
The Phillips Wildcats live ball turnovers, 2-man game working here, and the play of the game, the assist of the game, all in one. E.J. Horton benefiting off the pass from Phoenix Childs. Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I don't think that we can see something that's going to top that play. I mean, we're going to see some other great games with 3A, the state title game between DePaul College Prep and Mount Carmel, the rivalry within that one, 2 Chicago Catholic League teams, and then also Normal Community against Homewood Flossmoor for the 4A state championship. I know all 4 of those teams have athletes, but right now, that play and that done by E.J. Horton has my vote for the play of the weekend.
All right, but you'll be back with me later today, right?
Yes, I will be back.
Make that final determination. You know, and that will be a great evening session. Like you said, the great rivalry with the Paul College Prep. Winners in 2A last year, looking to go back-to-back here now in 3A this year against Mount Carmel. And then, I don't know, folks are talking about it. they've been talking about it, the Homewood Flossmoor Normal Community. That could be the topper of them all.
Yeah.
Horton moves down the floor quickly. And Benton will look to make something happen. Down by 7. Maybe got away with the push there. Harris will get called for the foul. Got his hands in the cookie jar.
Harris Martin is not happy with Elijah Harris because he understands that they don't need those type of fouls, because not only do you pick up that foul and add another team foul to your group, and it's 3 right now, but you stop the clock and allow Benton to get a set play in. You want that clock to continue to run.
Tedeschi, the handoff to Munoz. And it's a 5-point game.
You have to make yourself available if you're Phillips. You cannot run away from the ball.
Childs off his fingertips. Benton is still in it. And now it's Phillips that wants the timeout. How about that? All the Benton fans were kind of sagging in their seat, but a 3 from Tedeschi, a layup from Munoz off an assist from Tedeschi, and a turnover. They are everything up and going.
And that's why head coach Paris Martin of Phillips was so upset with Elijah Harris, because he picked up the foul. You stop the clock. Now sideline out of bounds for the Rangers. They get a quick hitter with the layup, and then you turn the ball over again. So now clock is stopped. Benton gets the possession. You're going to see something quick coming out of this timeout from Coach Weinmiller of the Rangers. He's done a great job of drawing up sets. They haven't been as successful converting them into points, but still in this situation, understanding that that momentum is switching over to their side, they're going to find something going towards the rim. Again, with Phillips, and we've seen it time and time again, where they've had those situations where they're trying to go for shot blocking. They end up fouling a Benton player and sending them to the free throw line.
We told you about what's coming up. Here's some details on it. You will see at 5:30 right here from State Farm Center. It'll be DePaul College Prep taking on Mount Carmel, and then following that ball game, we wrap up our entire 2 weekends of coverage here at the IHSA Girls and Boys Basketball Championships with Homewood Flossmoor and Normal Community. And there are the Ranger fans that made their way from the southern portion of the state.
Evan Munoz will take this basketball out, and Isaac Billington, I would like to see if he can get a screen, because you want him catching that basketball going towards the Rangers rim so he can have some momentum.
Billington will bring it up against Edwards. 45 seconds to play.
Good defense from Phillips, stopping that initial set for the Rangers. Now they have to go into the secondary offense.
Munoz cleared space. Boy, would that have been big had that gone. That is just the 3rd team foul on Benton, so they have 1 more to give before they can get Phillips to the line.
Claude Puma is walking over to Phoenix Childs like the game is over. The game is not over. There's still 22 seconds left. You're trying to celebrate. You still have to finish out this game.
There's the quick foul. Next foul will be free throw shooting time.
If I'm Munoz now, I'm coming off the ball just to double Amari Edwards. That's the best free throw shooter for Phillips at 93%. Force somebody else to get this basketball so he can foul them.
Well, and that's what Horton did. He looked to Edwards. He wasn't there, and just like that, there was no let's wait till a 3 or 4 count. I can't get it to my guy. Timeout.
Yes, very smart move from E.J. Horton there, inbounding the basketball. .21 seconds left in this ball game. If you're Phillips, again, you cannot hide from the basketball. Make yourself available, and on the catch, anticipate being fouled. So don't be lackadaisical with the ball. But if you're Benton, you're going to try and force somebody into a trap right away. It's on who's on the ball and guarding it, but you have to shield your shoulders towards the sideline to force that pass over to the sideline to create that trap.
All right. You know who the best statistician around is. It's Nick Pinto.
Oh, no doubt.
Next to me.
No doubt.
Get this. Now, if Phillips hangs on here, the last time Phillips won a state title was in March of 1975. What was happening then? The #1 TV show was All in the Family. The #1 movie, Towering Inferno, and John Wooden won his 10th NCAA title.
Wow.
How about that? That's perspective.
Nick Pinto, first ballot statistician.
There you go.
No doubt.
Yes.
No doubt.
Oh, my guy.
And if somebody disagrees at me right now, at Cameron Smith, we can talk about it. Because I'll tell you why you're wrong. Nick Pinto, first ballot Hall of Fame.
Impuma to Childs. Down to the final 10 seconds. Tedeschi. And it will go to Phillips.
Now, Claude and Impuma, you can celebrate. 4.3 left on the clock. Your team up 7. You get possession of this basketball. This is the time where you can relax.
It's been 49 years, but once again, Wendell Phillips Academy, state champions.
Congratulations to Wendell Phillips Academy. That 2A state trophy is coming back to the south side of Chicago.
A hard-earned win for the Wildcats. That is a tough line to walk through if you're on the short end of the score in a state championship ball game. But on the other side, high fives all around for Paris Martin and his Phillips Wildcats.
An outstanding ball game, really, from both teams. You saw the star players step up, especially in those crucial moments. You see the anguish and the tears from Benton Academy, and it's, excuse me, not Benton Academy, but Benton High School, but it's the exact opposite for Wendell Phillips Academy. All smiles, the culmination of hard work, not throughout the season, but going back to last season when their season ended. The extra time, the sacrifice is paying off, and it has paid off for the Wildcats.
Casey Standahar is standing by with our player of the game.
EJ, the momentum shifted. An 8-0 run to start the fourth quarter. How did you take advantage of that?
We just kept playing. We played together as a team. We stayed poised and just fought through all the adversity.
You're a state champion as a junior. For the first time since 1975, what will you remember most about this moment?
Man, it's the moments, the big moments where we was down and we just stayed together as a team and we came out with the win.
I'll let you go celebrate with your fans and the team. I'll bring in Coach. Coach. A big hug from your star, Coach. What a performance. This was a team effort. 3 of your guys in double figures. We saw how incredible EJ was out there. Why did it require everybody tonight?
Man, like I said, they boys been resilient all year. They've been building as brothers. And like I said, when they came to start the fourth quarter, they hugged, they told each other exactly what they was going to do. There wasn't nothing else I have to say. They did it themselves.
49 years, finally state champions once again. How does that sound?
Man, amazing. God did.
Thank you so much, Coach. Enjoy this one. Dave?
Well, as Casey pointed out, it was an 8-0 run to start the fourth quarter to break away from a 1-point lead at the end of 3. Teams are lining up. We are set. It's time to award medals and trophies here near 2A championship game.
Principal of Hamilton, Katie Hassan of Rock Ridge, Tom Shergan, Principal of Chicago de La Salle, Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East, and Dr. Scott Adrian of Dunlap. Now the individual awards for our second place finishers in Class 2A, the Benton Rangers. Superintendent Benjamin Johnson. Principal Sean Doherty. Athletic Director Ryan Miller. Assistant Athletic Director Shane Garner. Head Coach Ron Weinmiller. Assistant Coach Jason Hobbs. Assistant Coach Andy Sloan. Assistant Coach Lucas Roberts. Assistant Coach Tim Korn. Assistant Coach Scott Page. Number 2, Clay Gage. Number 4, Kyle Thomas. Number 5, Nolan Schaefer. Number 10, Isaac Billington. Number 11, Trayson Severin. Number 12, Grant Owens. Number 14, Luke Melvin. Number 15, Jacob Van Horn. Number 21, Timothy Hamilton. Number 22, Evan Munoz. Number 25, Ethan McCommons. Number 31, Andrew Burkmeyer. Number 33, Dane Kruger. Number 41, Docker Tedeschi. Number 42, Lane Crosland. And number 45, Caleb Dawson. Comes all the way over here. Yeah. Now our individual 2A awards for first place, the Phillips Wildcats. Executive Director of Sports for Chicago Public Schools, David Rosengard. Principal, Rashad Talley. Athletic Director, James Daniel LaForte. Head Coach, Paris Martin. Assistant Coach, Michael Wallace. Assistant Coach, Concha Scott. Assistant Coach, Keon Joyner. Manager, Alicia Miller. Manager, Bruce Thomas. Manager, Herschel Willie. Manager, Antoine Davis. Number 0, Michael White Jr. Number 1, Amari Edwards. Number 2, Lawrence Horton. Number 3, Elijah Harris. Number 4, Jeremiah Benjamin. Number 5, DeAndre Addison. Number 11, Ian Williams. Number 12, Derek Brooks. Number 13, Kamari Richmond. Number 14, Jonathan Duncan. Number 15, Phoenix Child. And number 24, Claude Puma. At this time, with Coach Weinmiller and members of Benton step forward to receive your Class 2A second place trophy. Now, with Coach Martin and members of Phillips step forward to receive your Class 2A championship trophy.
After defeating Beecher in the Super Sectionals, undefeated Beecher, Phillips came into this 2A Final Four as the favorite. But I'll tell you what, Cameron, they had to earn every bit of it. A 4-point win over Williamsville in the semifinals, and then a hard-earned 54-47 win here in a championship game over Benton.
Yeah, this team, with their schedule, understood what the task was, is to prepare yourself for the state tournament. And you go and you play various teams that play different styles of basketball. You play against teams from Central and Southern Illinois. Of course, you have the always tough Chicago Public League. And when you get to the state tournament, it doesn't matter what's thrown at you. You're ready for it because you've prepared yourself for it. And this has been the culmination of a long road for Phillips Academy. They are here. They deserve this moment. And this is a great opportunity and a great lesson for everybody watching this broadcast. You got to make sure you don't run from smoke. You have to prepare yourself if you want to be a state champion. And that's what Phillips Academy is.
And for Benton, the first time they finished in the top 4 in the state came in 1933. They did it again in 1992. They pick up a second-place trophy for the first time, and they came within minutes away of winning that state championship.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And hats off to Bennett, the Rangers, for themselves, who could very well be back in this situation next year, return a lot of talent like Dr. Tedeschi. So this was a great ball game in Class 2A.
One more set of photos here for the Phillips Wildcats, your 2024 state champions in Class 2A. Photos around for not quite as happy a bunch from Benton. Congratulations to both these teams. Our final score here, your 2A championship. Phillips 54, Benton 47. It's time now. Let's send it to the studio. Standing by, Darius Joshua and Coach Mark Lindo.
Thank you, Dave and Cam. A very exciting end there. 17,885 days ago on March 22nd, 1975, Phillips won its first state championship at Assembly Hall. 49 years later, the team does it again at State Farm Center.
And they used an 8-0 run after having a 1-point lead to kind of extend their lead, and then they took care of things down the stretch, making enough plays and distributing the ball amongst each other. It was a really fun team to watch. They had a few guys in double figures, and they rebounded the basketball, and they valued the basketball from a turnover standpoint. All of those are packaged into a championship win.
They took the lead early and basically held off Benton every time they tried to make a run in this one. A very exciting ending to the 2A state title game. And we've got 2 champions crowned already. A very excited Wildcats bunch hosting their trophy. Coming up next, we will recap this game and talk a little bit about our first action and take a look at the games coming up later today. Stick with us.
Munoz baseline. Couldn't find Billington. Right into the hands of Childs. A 2-on-1. Oh, Horton with the slam.
That is just an unbelievably impressive play there. He had 2 wide open dunks he missed, but he gets that one over Dr. Tedeschi.
That was a pretty athletic play, I would think. I haven't seen anybody dunk like that since Darius Joshua did it many moons ago.
No, you must be talking about when I had the nice little, 6-foot hoop growing up. That's the only time I got that high. And I definitely never dunked on anybody. That is exciting. Here are the highlights from this 2A championship. Great plays from Elijah Harris. This at the end of the first half gets the steal, scored 7 straight points, 7 of his 9 coming down. And there's Phoenix Childs with a little more defense, gets the block, and then a nice pass ahead to Amari Edwards. He gets the and 1 bucket to fall, 12 points for him. Later, though, in the third, Dr. Tedeschi had a rough day at the office, but finding some space here, he had 7 points, 10 rebounds, making it a 1-point game at that point. But as you mentioned, Coach, they had the 8-0 run to start the fourth, and then plays like this one. Unbelievable.
Rise and shine. Rise and shine.
Rise and shine.
E.J. Horton, oh my.
As Bill Raftery says, send it in, E.J. That is a unbelievable play there. That is the punctuation on the 7-point win for Phillips as they win their second state title here in the Class 2A after winning back in 1975 as well, Coach.
Well, I think they did what they needed to do. We talked about their schedule, early on in the year where they played nothing but powerhouses. My goodness, and that tested them going into the Chicago Public League season and then this state tournament run. They have done it in outstanding fashion, creating opportunities for each other. And how about the game that Elijah Harris had off the bench? Nine points off the bench, but he was just such a spark plug. Just so fun to watch. Boy, can he scoot with the basketball.
Yeah, Phoenix Childs had 13 points as well. You saw a couple of those assists and the block he had there as well. That's 6'4" and 6'8" on that play as well. So Phillips wins their second ever state title in school history. For Benton, a long history for them as a program. They have to finish as the runners-up this season.
Well, Benton had a great season. The Rangers were a relatively young team. Both these teams young. They'll be back. Very well-coached team, and they'll be happy to take home a trophy here this weekend.
A special shout-out to Isaac Billington, the senior for Benton, who had 19 points in today's contest. So 2 games, 2 champions crowned already. First, it was West Central getting the 1A crown, the first in their school's history. And then in the 2A action, it was the Wildcats of Phillips bringing home a state title. So thank you all for joining us in our first half of the session here. Come and join us again at 5:30. For now, we send us to your regularly scheduled program.
Get beautiful new floor.